Hello everyone. It's James again. And before I start today's video, I just want to quickly say, all work in this video contains 100% original content of and by myself James Smith, otherwise known as Bgood 4000, and was uniquely created with NAWMAL software, by myself James Smith. As I purchased commercial rights from NAWMAL to produce my unique and original video with this software. Commentary is uniquely my own thoughts, feelings, and expressions. Now that I have that out of the way, I do hope your day is going better than fantastic. Today, I want to keep this video short and brief. But I did want to answer a question. A question that I believe is at least important to me. And might be important to you and your healing. And the question that was asked: how can I love my narcissist mother? Look. My mother put me through a lot of bad and terrible things. She really did. I've talked about feeling lost as a result of my growing up and feeling to a degree of not having a past I can correctly talk about in public to others. And yes, I do have a few friends that know about my mother and that are supportive. But that part of things didn't happen overnight. And they aren't there in my day-to-day life. Because they have busy lives of their own. Which is another topic for another video. But my mother really put me through a lot. Much like many of your narcissist parent or parents did to you. Underhanded stuff. I mean really planning way ahead of time to steer me down the wrong path and put me in bad situations. So if she did all of these things to me, how can I love her? Because I took the time for myself. To understand what happened to her in her growing up years. And for many of us, if we rewind the tapes of things we know about them, and now put them in the proper context, the picture of their creation becomes more and more clear. There is still a big question about nature and nurture, in regards to narcissism and other personality issues. I think both play a role. But that's just my humble opinion. But, even if my mother had a genetic predisposition to having certain issues, if she was raised in a loving home without manipulation, there would have been a big chance. She could have grown up to be loving, kind and honest. My mother's growing up years were a mess. From what I can gather, her growing up years were a mess and she didn't stand a chance. And in that, I'm not mad at her. Literally. I'm not. I haven't been mad at her for a long time. I talk about what she did to me and how it mangled my life. Yes. Because it's important to see the patterns and it's important to pass this along to others. So they can get out and free from such a toxic person. But it doesn't come from a place of hate at all. When I think about my mother, I feel sorry for her. Now what's the difference between my mother and Susie? Or an old narcissist boss? Well, the difference is the genetic fact that's my mother. And though we were trained and this and that by our narcissist parent or parents, I think this fact that this is our mother or father if your father is or was the narcissist, it goes a long way. Meaning the pain is deeper. Because that is your parent or parents. And this weird unconditional love is there as well along with this deep terrible pain. At least when you are younger. And sadly this is something the narcissist preys upon. The fact that they know you have an attachment to them because they are your genetic parents. Now with that being said, I learned to understand the difference between genetic attachment and understanding where my mother's problems are and why they happened. And that I can't let myself fall into a self-blaming state of being because of this genetic attachment. But instead, I understand. I understand what happened to her. And that allows me to love her. When likely no one ever truly loved her from that level of understanding. Perhaps my father. But he passed away when I was quite young. So I can't ask him about these things. Now does this love allow me to put myself in harm's way with my mother? No. You see, there was a pastor I was listening to online some years ago. I can't remember his name offhand at the moment. but he talked a lot about spiritual warfare. And the true meaning about honoring your parents from a biblical sense. And he talked about really bad and toxic parents. And he said that in some instances to get up and move a great distance from them. And to have very limited and sometimes no communication with them is honoring them. However, being in their life, and calling them names, hanging up the phone on them, wishing them all kinds of bad things is not. It's not. And by doing so you are lowering yourself down to their level, and it can possibly cause all kinds of problems in your life as a result. There was a time I had contact with my mother which was terrible. Everything went wrong all the time. Then it went to no contact. And then it went to very, very limited contact. As a result of my mother's health. But it's my choice. I know what she has done. I know. But if I walk around with hatred in my heart for what she has done, then she and all of the narcissists out there have won. I pray for her soul daily. I wish she had a normal life. And yes, I love her. However, this might be much different than a person that loves a mother or father that is active and loving in their son or daughter's life. The love I have for my mother is in the praying biblical sense as it is in the genetic sense. The key thing is, I've been able to step back and understand what those things mean. Which allows me to not get sucked into her life. But that's just me. However, let's say I lived in a different country from her and I knew it was best I were never to see her again. Would I still love her? Yes. Yes. I would. Because I don't wish bad on her just because she did bad to me. Because by wishing this bad on someone else, and enjoying this bad that happens to someone else, is the first step they took many, many years ago to becoming a narcissist. And that's a step I don't want to take. I hope that answers your question on this subject. And by the way, thank you for asking this question. Because again, the more we share, the more we grow. It's all important stuff. With that said, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so to help this channel's growth. Don't forget to share and like as well. And if you would like to support this channel further, there is a Patreon link below. With that said, I do hope your day is blessed. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.